Welcome to Ohio's 12th Annual Poetry Out Loud State Finals. One of our 12 state finalists will be competing for the opportunity to represent Ohio at the national competition in Washington, D.C.
Good afternoon. Hello, friends, Ohioans, poetry lovers. I'm Chiquita Mullins-Lee, Arts Learning Coordinator for the Ohio Arts Council, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Ohio's 12th Annual Poetry Out Loud State Finals. Can you believe it's been 12 years? It's unbelievable. But this is a good thing. This is a good day. It's a very exciting day. The Poetry Out Loud National Recitation Contest is an arts education initiative generously sponsored by the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation in association with the Ohio Arts Council. I've had the privilege of experiencing some of the best poetry ever written, recited by high school students who learned about poetry and about themselves through Poetry Out Loud. And I am so pleased to present our 12 state finalists competing for the opportunity to represent Ohio at the national competition in Washington, D.C. These students come from all across the state and have put in many hours of practice to get to this point. Each of them competed at their high school, then at one of our 6 regional semifinals, and earned the honor of representing their school and their region at the state finals today. And here they are. Aren't they beautiful? I wish all of you the very best. Let's give them some more encouragement with your applause. Today would not be possible without the hard work of a whole lot of people. So I want to begin by recognizing the efforts of more than 100 high school teachers who participated in Ohio's Poetry Out Loud program this year. We offer them our deepest appreciation, and we appreciate their dedication because without them, we would not be here. So Poetry Out Loud teachers, would you please stand? We want to recognize your stellar commitment. There are a lot of people that come together to make this happen, so we have a few more people we want to thank. Beginning with Andy Herron and his assistant Ben. Andy is the facilities manager here at the beautiful Peggy R. McConnell Arts Center of Worthington and the Bronwyn Theater. This is our venue today. We also want to recognize Mr. John Prosek, the wonderful and talented John Prosek. He's WOSU's TV production manager, and his excellent staff who's videotaping our program today. The program will air in the spring on WOSU, and we'll let you know what that date is when it's going to air. Also want to thank our program partners, David Weaver, who is the Executive Director of Ohioana Library, Meg Brown, who is Manager of Children's Programming at Thurber House, Jared Hartzler, who's the Director of Tuesday Musical Association, and Gary Minyard, who's Vice President for Education and Engagement with the Victoria Theater Association in Dayton, Ohio. We are proud to have them as our Poetry Out Loud program partners, and we deeply appreciate their long-standing loyalty and support, including their assistance in bringing about the 2017 semifinals and this expansion into regional partners. Which leads me into what we're doing different this year, which is why we're so excited. This year, we introduced regional partners in 6 Ohio cities: Cleveland, Columbus, Nelsonville, Cincinnati, Dayton, and Findlay, Toledo area. By establishing regional partnerships, we aim to expand our recruitment efforts statewide, bringing Poetry Out Loud to every corner of the state. Regional partnerships also shorten travel time to workshops and semifinals, making Poetry Out Loud more accessible than ever. And I'd now like to recognize our 6 regional partners who have embraced the goals of Poetry Out Loud and worked very hard this year to recruit teachers, to communicate with teachers, to plan and provide workshops, and to run their first regional semifinals. So as we call your name, and we hope you're here, please stand. Our Cleveland Northeast Regional Partner is the Ohio Center for the Book at the Cleveland Public Library. Amy Dawson is the manager of the Ohio Center for the Book, and Keisha Nicole Foster is the regional coordinator. We thank these women for their hard work. Our Columbus Central Regional Partner is Wild Goose Creative. Justin Johnston, Executive Director, and Holly Morris, Regional Coordinator. Are they here? Well, Wild Goose Creative is very busy, so we'll catch up with them later. Our Nelsonville Southeast Regional Partner is Stewart's Opera House. Tim Peacock is Executive Director. Emily Prince is Education Director. And she has assistance from Wendy McVicker. Are they here? I know I saw them earlier. There they are. Our Cincinnati Southwest Regional Partner is Elements. Tom Kent is the Executive Director, and Jory Ann Cotton is the Regional Coordinator. All right, we'll send remarks to Cincinnati. Our Dayton and West Central Regional Partner is K-12 Gallery and Tejas. Jerry Stannard is the Executive Director, and Maya Celeste is the Regional Coordinator. All right, we love them too. And our Findlay Toledo Northwest Partner is the Arts Partnership. Peggy Grandvoice is the Executive Director, Craig Van Rentergem is the Education Director, and the Regional Coordinator, and Peggy is here. So this is wonderful. We have people from all over the state. It's just so exciting to see how this program is growing. I don't know if you remember the last days, if anybody's been around, when we used to start at 8 o'clock in the morning and go until about 5:30 in the afternoon because we had 35 or 40 students. It was a good day, but it was a long day. So this is better. So I'd like for you to just give them all a round of applause for their hard work for Poetry Out Loud this year. And now, it gives me great pleasure to recognize a very special woman who is the reason that we are all here and who gives us wonderful support all day for all the projects that the Ohio Arts Council is responsible for. She is the Executive Director of the Ohio Arts Council. We thank her for her unending support of Poetry Out Loud and arts programs throughout Ohio. Donna Collins.
Chiquita. You're so sweet. Thank you. What a fabulous day. I cannot believe the young people that are here that I've gotten to talk to. Thomas Ellison, last year's state champion, is here. He got to talk to the kids that are performing today for us, reciting today. Wow. Chiquita, thank you, and to Catherine and everyone, and Katie, every person. I could list them all to say thank you, but you and Katie work at this year-round, so thank you very much for your dedication to these young people. Katie, stand up. Thank you. Congratulations to all of you for what you've accomplished so far in the Poetry Out Loud process. Ohio is blessed with an abundance of outstanding arts organizations, exceptional individual artists, inspiring arts education activities in our schools, and strong arts programs at our colleges and universities. These organizations and individuals inspire all of us all of us at the Ohio Arts Council to work hard on your behalf. The agency will award grants to hundreds of organizations, schools, and individuals this year, investing millions of public dollars in the arts, and we know that the returns on these investments will include very meaningful arts experiences, innovative new ventures, preservation of traditional culture, world-class quality performances, and the revitalization of communities, and so much more. This year, thanks to Poetry Out Loud and everyone involved with the program across the U.S., more than 365,000 students are memorizing, reciting, and performing classic works of poetry. The winner from today's recitations will be awarded an all-expense-paid trip to Washington, D.C. to participate in the National Poetry Out Loud Finals held April 24 through 26. So let's send some positive energy out. Just put that on your calendars now. We send all that out to be good luck to all of you. I had the great pleasure of attending last year's national finals where Thomas Ellison, Ohio's 2016 state champion, did a fabulous job. We were so proud of his performance and his poise, and I know that the winner of this year's state finals will do us the same kind of proud. I feel like I have another child in my family, although today when he went down and gave some advice to today's contestants, I thought, oh, that boy has become a man. That's what college will do for you, right, Thomas? And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our MC, a champion of poetry in Ohio, former State Senator Eric Kearney of Cincinnati. He's just something else. While in the Senate, Senator Kearney led the passage of Senate Bill 84, which established the position of Ohio Poet Laureate. That's right. We are honored that Senator Kearney joins us again this year for the Poetry Out Loud State Finals, and he's brought his family with him. Where's Mrs. Kearney and your son? Thank you for joining us for the day. And truly, we are blessed by this man who gives his heart and soul to what is good for Ohioans and what is good for kids, and I'm proud that he's a colleague and a friend. Thank you, Senator Kearney.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, Donna. I greatly appreciate that. And I'm really excited to be back every year. It's really a great honor for me. So Chiquita, thank you. Katie, thank you. Justin and everybody at the Ohio Arts Council, thank you very much for allowing me to come back. I really do appreciate it, and I mean that sincerely. Also, I want to thank my wife and son who have come every year that I've participated. My son, who's a 7th grader, loves this, right? And hopefully one day he will participate. He'll be a participant like some of the students today. It's not easy to memorize a poem, and even more impressive to recite it with confidence and grace in front of an audience. I'd like to congratulate all the students and teachers for their hard work and the accomplishment of making it to the stage today. May your poems be your friend for life. Before we begin the official poetry recitation, I must remind you of some ground rules. Please, no flash photography, as this may distract performers, judges, and audience members. An official photographer for the Ohio Arts Council, where's the official photographer? Right there. Will be taking photographs of the event, and every student will receive a photo CD. Okay, now, pull out your cell phones. Okay. I'm going to take a picture of you all, so that we have this. And you think I'm kidding, but I'm not. Okay, so make sure your phones are on silent. So I've got mine on silent, right? You can even turn them off if you want to. And we will be live tweeting during today's event. If you are on Twitter, or I guess Instagram too, right, or Facebook, you can follow along at Ohio, O-H-I-O-P-O-L, Ohio, P-O-L, and use the hashtag POL17, 17, POL17, capital P, capital O, capital L, 17. Feel free to comment and retweet to your friends and family during breaks. Okay? Between recitations. Please do not look at your phone, as the light may distract the students. And with all things these days, you will find an evaluation form in your program, and we ask that you please complete it and turn it in at the end of today's events. Okay. Also, give our students the respect they deserve by being quiet during their recitations, but applause and cheering before and after each performance is welcomed and encouraged. Let's practice. Okay, the student has just finished. What do you do? Great. Very good. Very good. I think you've got it down. Okay, if you leave the theater between, you can only do it between recitations only. Okay? And then please wait before you come back in until you hear applause. Okay? Does everybody get that? Leave on applause, enter on applause. The state finals will consist of 3 rounds. Each student will recite 1 poem in each of the first 2 rounds. Recitation order was randomized and is listed in your event program. We will have a short break between rounds. Scores in our regional semifinals do not count towards today's scores. We hit the reset button here today. After round 2 is finished, students in the finals will be tallied to determine which students have scored highest. Scoring is cumulative in today's finals, so scores from the first 2 rounds are added together to determine the student's final ranking. The top six highest scoring students from the first 2 rounds will recite a 3rd poem in the final round. Everybody get that? Top 6? Okay. We'll recite a 3rd poem. Contest results will be determined by a cumulative score from all 3 rounds. The contestants will be scored in 6 categories: physical presence, voice and articulation, dramatic appropriateness, evidence of understanding, overall performance, and accuracy. For this formidable task, I'd like to thank our 3 distinguished judges: Rose Smith, Steve Abbott, Terry Hermson. Thank you for lending your expertise, and I'm going to add a new rule. You are not allowed, parents, to bribe the judges, okay? We will also be assisted by the Ohio Arts Council, Mary Gray, serving as our prompter. Carla Osterly, where is she? Our accuracy, there she is, our accuracy checker. And Jim Sakosh, our scoring manager. Okay, drum roll, please. So without further delay, let's begin round 1 of the 2017 Poetry Out Loud State Finals. Paige Gibol, sophomore, Medina High School, Medina.
The Larger by Joni Mikowski. I don't know how it happened, but I fell, and I was immense. One dislocated arm wedged between 2 buildings. I felt some ribs had broken, perhaps a broken neck too. I couldn't speak. My dress caught, bunched about my thighs, and where my glasses shattered, there spread something like a seacoast, or maybe it was a port. Where my hair tangled with power lines, I felt a hot puddle of blood. I must have passed out, but when I woke, a crew of about 50 was building a winding stairway beside my breast and buttressing a platform on my sternum. I heard, as through cotton, the noise of hammers, circular saws, laughter, and some radio droning songs about love. Out the corner of one eye, I could open one eye a bit, I saw my pocketbook, its contents scattered, my lipsticks toppled silo, glinting out of reach. And then, waving a tiny flashlight, a man entered my ear. I felt his boots sloshing the blood trickling there. He never came out. So some went looking with flares, dogs, dynamite even. They burst my middle ear and found my skull, its cavern crammed with dark matter like a cross between a fungus and a cloud. They never found his body, though. And they never found or tried to find an explanation. I think, for me, they didn't seem to need one. Even now, my legs subdue that dangerous sea, the water bright enough to cut the skin, where a lighthouse, perched on the tip of my great toe, each 8 seconds rolls another flawless pearl across the waves. It keeps most ships from wrecking against my feet. On clear days, people stand beside the light. They watch the waves' blue heads slip up and down and scan for landmarks on the facing shore.
Jordan Washington, senior, Fort Hays Arts and Academic High School, Columbus.
I, Too, by Langston Hughes. I, too, sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But I laugh, eat well, and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table, and nobody dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. And besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I, too, am America.
Anna Paley, freshman, Lima Central Catholic High School, Lima.
Sweetness by Stephen Dunn. Just when it has seemed I couldn't bear one more friend waking with a tumor, one more maniac with a perfect reason. Often a sweetness has come and changed nothing in the world except the way I stumbled through it. For a while, lost in the ignorance of loving someone or something, The world shrunk to mouth size, hand size, and never seeming small. I acknowledge there is no sweetness that doesn't leave a stain. No sweetness that's ever sufficiently sweet. Tonight, a friend called to say his lover was killed in a car he was driving. His voice was low and guttural. He repeated what he needed to repeat, and I repeated the one or two words we have for such grief until we were speaking only in tones. Often, a sweetness comes, as if on loan, stays just long enough to make sense of what it means to be alive, then returns to its dark source. As for me, I don't care where it's been or what bitter road it's traveled to come so far, to taste so good.
Our next contestant, Mary Simmons, senior, St. Joseph Academy, Cleveland.
I Felt a Funeral in My Brain by Emily Dickinson. I felt a funeral in my brain, and mourners to and fro kept treading, till it seemed that sense was breaking through. And when they all were seated, a service like a drum kept beating, till I thought my mind was going numb. And then I heard them lift a box and creak across my soul with those same boots of lead again. Then space began to toll, as all the heavens were a bell, and being but an ear, and I in silence, some strange race, wrecked, solitary here. And then a plank in reason broke, and I dropped down and hit a world at every plunge, and finished knowing then.
Ashley Stull, senior, Kettering Fairmont High School, Kettering.
The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here, at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows world-wide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
Mackenzie Neville, Jr., Mother of Mercy High School, Cincinnati.
Dear Reader by Rita Mae Reese. You have forgotten it all. You have forgotten your name, where you lived, who you loved. Why? I am simply your nurse, terse and unlovely. I point to things and remind you what they are. Chair, book, daughter, soup. And when we are alone, I tell you what lies in each direction. This way is death, and this way, after a longer walk, is death, and that way is death, but you won't see it until it is right in front of you. Once, after your niece had been to visit you, and I said something about how you must love her, or she must love you, or something useless like that, you gripped my forearm in your terrible, swift hand and said, "She is everything." You gave me a shake, everything to me. And then you fell back into the well, deep in the well of everything, and I stand at the edge and call, chair, book, daughter, soup.
Samantha Riegler, sophomore, Seton High School, Cincinnati.
The Albatross by Kate Bass. When I know you are coming home, I put on this necklace. Glass beads on a silken thread, a blue that used to match my eyes. I like to think I am remembering you. I like to think you don't forget. The necklace lies heavy on my skin. It clatters when I reach down to lift my screaming child. I swing her, roll her in my arms until she forgets. The beads glitter in the flicker of a TV set. As I sit her on my lap and wish away the afternoon. I wait until I hear a gate latch lift. The turn of key and lock. I sit amongst toys and unwashed clothes. I sit and she fingers the beads until you speak in a voice that no longer seems familiar, only strange. I turn as our child tugs at the string. I hear a snap and a sound like falling rain.
Harry Harmon, sophomore, John Glenn High School, New Concord.
The Snowman by Wallace Stevens. One must have a mind of winter to regard the frost and the boughs of the pine trees crusted with snow, and have been cold a long time to behold the junipers shagged with ice, the spruces rough in the distant glitter of the January sun. And not to think of any misery in the sound of the wind, in the sound of a few leaves, which is the sound of the land full of the same wind that is blowing in the same bare place for the listener who listens in the snow, and, nothing himself, beholds nothing that is not there, and the nothing that is.
Madeline Schroeder, senior, Columbus Alternative High School, Columbus.
The Gaff by C.K. Williams. If that's someone who's me, yet not me, yet who judges me, is always with me, as he is, shouldn't he have been there when I said so long ago that thing I said? If he who rakes me with such not trivial shame for minor sins now were there then, Shouldn't he have warned me he'd even now devastate me for my unpardonable affront? I'm a child then. Yet already I've composed this conscious beast who harries me. Is there anything else I can say with certainty about who I was, except that he, could already draw from infinitesimal transgressions complex chords of remorse, and orchestrate ever undiminishing retribution from the hapless rest of myself? The son of some friends of my parents has died, and my parents, paying their call, take me along, and I'm sent out with the dead boy's brother and some others to play. We're joking around, and some words come to my mind which, to my amazement, are said. How do you know when you can laugh when somebody dies? Your brother dies. It's what's said. And the others go quiet. The backyard goes quiet. Everyone stares. And I want to know now why that someone in me who's me, yet not me, let me say it. Shouldn't he have told me the contrition cycle would from then be ever upon me? It didn't matter that I really only wanted to know how grief ends and when. I could hear the boy's mother sobbing inside. Then stopping, sobbing, then stopping. Was the end of her grief already there? Had her someone in her told her it would end? Was her someone in her kinder to her, not tearing at her as mine did, still does me, for guessing grief someday ends? Is that why her sobbing stopped sometimes? She didn't laugh, though. Or I never heard her. How do you know when you can laugh? Why couldn't someone have been there in me, not just to accuse me, but to explain? The kids were playing again. I was playing. I didn't hear anything more from inside. The way now, sometimes, what's in me is silent too. And sometimes, though never really, forgets.
Magnus Sabo, Jr., Upper Arlington High School, Upper Arlington.
A Rabbit as King of the Ghosts by Wallace Stevens. The difficulty to think at the end of day when the shapeless shadow covers the sun and nothing is left except light on your fur. There was the cat slopping its milk all day, fat cat, red tongue, green mind, white milk, and August, the most peaceful month. To be in the grass in the peacefulest time without that monument of cat, the cat forgotten in the moon, and to feel that the light is a rabbit light, in which everything is meant for you, and nothing need be explained. Then there is nothing to think of. It comes of itself, and east rushes west, and west rushes down. No matter, the grass is full, and full of yourself. The trees around are for you. The whole of the wideness of night is for you. a self that touches all edges. You become a self that fills the four corners of night. The red cat hides away in the fur light, and there you are. Humped high, humped up, you are humped higher and higher. Black as stone. You sit with your head like a carving in space. And the little green bug is a cat in the grass.
Brianna McGee, Jr., Springfield High School, Springfield.
Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade. And yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Genevieve Urban, Jr., The Lyceum, South Euclid.
Hymn to God, my God, in my sickness, by John Donne. Since I am coming to that holy room, where, with thy choir of saints forevermore, I shall be made thy music. As I come, I tune the instrument here at the door, and what I must do then, think here before. Whilst my physicians by their love are grown cosmographers, and I their map, who lie flat on this bed, that by them may be shown that this is my southwest discovery. Per fratum fabris, by these straits to die. I joy that in these straits I see my west. For though their currents yield return to none, what shall my west hurt me? As west and east in all flat maps, and I am one, are one, so death doth touch the resurrection. Is the Pacific Sea my home? Or are the eastern riches? Is Jerusalem, Anyan, and Magellan, and Gibraltar, all straits, and none but straits are ways to them, whether where Japhet dwelt, or Cham, or Shem. We think that paradise and Calvary, Christ's cross and Adam's tree stood in one place. Look, Lord, and find both Adams met in me. As the first Adam's sweat surrounds my face, may the last Adam's blood my soul embrace. So, in his purple wrapped, receive me, Lord. By these his thorns, give me his other crown. And as to other souls I preached thy word, be this my text, my sermon to mine own. Therefore, that he may raise
the Lord throws down.
To prepare for today's contest, I did have to use a lot of tricks and little helpful tips for me to remember my poems. The one that I used the most is I would print out my poem, and then I would recite it and record it on my phone, and then I would play it back and read my poem and listen to my recitation and highlight everything I messed up. And then I would go back and specifically look at that, because it really helped me to hear it and see it in my own words.
What I've learned from Poetry Out Loud this year is just understanding text so much better. Since I've had to delve into the text just performing it, when I'm in my English classroom now and we get to talk about these things about the text and what we were reading, I'm so much better equipped for the conversation because of Poetry Out Loud.
I would tell a first-time Poetry Out Loud contestant to enjoy themselves. It goes by really quickly and the experience is really fun. Even though it's a competition, just enjoy listening to other poetry and getting to experience public speaking and learning from it. So enjoy it and learn from it.
I prepared for today's contest by just reciting my poems a lot. For my friends, my family, my teachers, anyone I could find to recite to, I would sit them down and recite. And as far as memorizing goes, I just read the poems a lot to internalize them, kind of went over them until they really stuck with me.
My advice for a first-time Poetry Out Loud contestant would be don't stress out. Stress is going to be your worst enemy in this competition, so if you are stressed, use it to your advantage. Use those emotions to make you feel more confident with your work.
If I could give any advice to a first-time Poetry Out Loud contestant, it would be definitely to just believe in your ability. You got here for a reason. You are talented, and that confidence is going to show on stage, so just believe in yourself because you have this.
Okay, so from Poetry Out Loud this year, I think I learned a lot about who I was as a person, and honestly that I like talking in front of people because I'm naturally a very shy person. I hate getting up in front of people, but this entire experience I've learned that I really like talking to people.
Well, I chose my poems because I wanted to go with a theme. I always want to choose a theme. Last year in my school competition, my theme was nature, so this year the theme is the human soul.
Well, this year I've learned quite a bit from Poetry Out Loud. I'm not the best public speaker, and so it's taught me to really come out of my shell and be able to talk to people and be able to explain poems to people just by saying them.
I prepared for today's contest by going through the poems with teachers, asking for their advice, and of course my parents and anyone that I could really get. And I memorized the poems by, I first just listened to it a bunch of times, listened to maybe if there's someone else who did it, listen to it, kind of get it in my head, go through what I think the poem means line by line, really get down the meaning, and then just wrote memorization just again and again and again.
I chose my poems basically off of what I felt like related to me and what I felt like when I recite them, I can get the most emotion out of them. And I think that's really important when you choose a poem. My favorite poem would have to be my last one, my third one, which is What I Learned from the Incredible Hulk. It is probably super funny, and it's like a really cool poem. Like, anybody can just recite it. You don't need to have that much emotion. It's just super funny.
I chose my poems by reading through all of the poems, the first few lines of all of the poems on the website, and from that choosing the ones that intrigued me the most and I found the most interesting. And then from those I narrowed it down by those that spoke to me the most. And my favorite poem is so hard to choose. It's like choosing a favorite child or something. It's just, I love them all. They're all beautiful in their own ways and all speak to me in different ways.
Audience, you've done a very good job during the first half, so I want to congratulate you. So I'm going to give you a round of applause. No, don't give yourself. I'll do it for you, okay? Welcome back, everyone. Thank you again to all of our students. They were all fantastic, exceptional. So give them a round of applause, little energy. Okay, now let's begin round two. Paige Gibo Medina High School.
Personal by Tony Hoagland. Don't take it personal, they said. But I did. I took it all quite personal. The breeze and the river and the color of the fields, the price of grapefruit and stamps, the wet hair of women in the rain. And I cursed what hurt me, and I praised what gave me joy, the most simple-minded of possible responses. The government reminded me of my father with its deafness and its laws. And the weather reminded me of my mom with her tropical squalls. Enjoy it while you can, they said of happiness. Think first, they said of talk. Get over it, they said at the School of Broken Hearts. But I couldn't, and I didn't, and I don't believe in the clean break. I believe in the compound fracture, served with a sauce of dirty regret. I believe in saying it all, and taking it all back, and saying it again for good measure, while the air fills up with I'm sorries, like wheeling birds, and the trees look seasick in the wind. Oh, life, can you blame me for making a scene? You were that yellow caboose, the moon disappearing over a ridge of clouds. I was the dog, chained in some fool's backyard, barking and barking, trying to convince everything else to take it personal too.
Jordan Washington Fort Hays Arts and Academic High School.
Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Anna Colley, Lima Central Catholic High School.
Self-Help by Michael Ryan. What kind of delusion are you under? The life ye hid just knocked you flat. You see the lightning, but not the thunder. What God hath joined, let no man put asunder. Did God know you'd marry a rat? What kind of delusion are you under? His online persona simply stunned her, as it did you when you started to chat. You see the lightning, but not the thunder. To the victors go the plunder. You should crown them with a baseball bat. What kind of delusion are you under? The kind that causes blunder after blunder. Is there any other kind than that? You see the lightning, but not the thunder. And for 1 second, the world's a wonder. Just keep it thrilling under your hat. What kind of delusion are you under? You see the lightning, but not the thunder.
Mary Simmons, St. Joseph Academy.
Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we. And neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life, and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea.
Ashley Stull, Kettering Fairmont High School.
The Obligation to Be Happy by Linda Paston. It is more onerous than the rights of beauty or housework, harder than love. But you expected of me, casually, the way you expect the sun to come up, not in spite of rain or clouds, but because of them. And so I smile, as if my own fidelity to sadness were a hidden vice. That downward tug on my mouth, my old suspicions that health and love are brief irrelevancies, no more than laughter in the warm dark, strangled at dawn. Happiness. I try to hoist it on my narrow shoulders again. A knapsack heavy with gold coins. I stumble around the house, bump into things, Only Midas himself would understand.
Mackenzie Neville, Mother of Mercy High School.
Famous by Naomi Shihab Nye. The river is famous to the fish. The loud voice is famous to silence, which knew it would inherit the earth before anybody said so. The cat sleeping on the fence is famous to the birds watching him from the birdhouse. The tear is famous briefly to the cheek. The idea that you carry close to your bosom is famous to your bosom. The boot is famous to the earth, more famous than the dress shoe, which is famous only to floors. The bent photograph is famous to the one who carries it, and not at all famous to the one who is pictured. I want to be famous to shuffling men who smile while crossing streets, sticky children in grocery lines, famous as the one who smiled back. I want to be famous in the way a pulley is famous, or a buttonhole, not because it did anything spectacular, but because it never forgot what it could do.
Samantha Riegler, Seton High School.
My prime of youth is but a frost of cares, by Chiodoc Tichborne. My prime of youth is but a frost of cares. My feast of joy is but a dish of pain. My crop of corn is but a field of tares, and all my good is but vain hope of gain. The day is gone, and yet I saw no sun. And now I live, and now my life is done. The spring is past, and yet it hath not sprung. The fruit is dead, and yet the leaves are green. My youth is gone, and yet I am but young. I saw the world, and yet I was not seen. My thread was cut, and yet it was not spun. And now I live, and now my life is done. I sought my death and found it in my womb. I looked for life and saw it was a shade. I trode the earth and knew it was my tomb. And now I die, and now I am but made. The glass is full, and now the glass is run. And now I live, and now my life is done.
Harry Harmon, John Glenn High School.
The Lake Isle of Innisfree by William Butler Yeats. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there, of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore, while I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's gray, I hear it in the deep heart's core.
Madeline Schroeder, Columbus Alternative High School.
Snow Day by Billy Collins. Today, we woke up to a revolution of snow. Its white flag waving over everything. The landscape vanished. Not a single mouse to punctuate the blankness. And beyond these windows, the government buildings smothered, schools and libraries buried, the post office lost under the noiseless drift. The paths of trains softly blocked, the world fallen under this falling. In a while, I will put on some boots and step out like someone walking in water, and the dog will porpoise through the drifts, and I will shake a laden branch, sending a cold shower down on us both. But for now, I'm a willing prisoner in this house, a sympathizer with the anarchic cause of snow. I will make a pot of tea and listen to the plastic radio on the counter, as pleased as anyone to hear the news that the Kitty Corner School is closed. The Ding Dong School, closed. The All Aboard Children's School, closed. The Hi Ho Nursery School, closed, along with, as some will be delighted to hear, the Toadstool School, the Little School, Little Sparrows Nursery School, Little Stars Preschool, Peas and Carrots Day School, the Tom Thumb Child Center, all closed, and, clap your hands, the Peanuts Play School. So this is where the children hide all day. These are the nests where they letter and draw, where they put on their bright miniature jackets, all darting and climbing and sliding. All but the few girls whispering by the fence. And now, I am listening hard in the grandiose silence of the snow, trying to hear what those three girls are plotting. What riot is afoot? Which small queen is about to be brought down?
Magnus Sabo, Upper Arlington High School.
Larkinesque by Michael Ryan. Reading in the paper a summary of a 5-year psychological study that shows those perceived as most beautiful are treated differently. I think they could have just asked me, remembering a kind of pudgy kid and late puberty, the bloody noses and wise cracks because I wore glasses. Though we all know by now how awful it is for the busty starlet no one takes seriously, the loveliest woman I've lunched with lamenting the opacity of the body. They can never trust a man's interest, even when he seems not just out for sex. Eyes focus on me above rim of wine glass. And who would want to live like this? And what does beauty do to a man? Don Juan, Casanova, Lord Byron, those fiery eyes and steel jawlines confront a furnace of self-loathing. All those breathless women rushing to him while hubby's at the office or ball game, primed to be consumed by his beauty while he stands next to it watching. So maybe the looks were dealt our best. It's only common sense that happiness depends on some bearable deprivation or defect. And who knows what conflicts great beauty could have caused, what cruelties one might have suffered from those now friends, what unmanageable possibilities smiling at every small turn. So if I get up to draw a tumbler of ordinary tap water and think, what if this were nectar, dripping from delicious, burning fingers? Will all I've missed knock me senseless? No, of course not. It won't.
Brianna McGee, Springfield High School.
Invitation to Love by Paul Laurence Dunbar. Come when the nights are bright with stars, or come when the moon is mellow. Come when the sun his golden bars drops on the hayfield yellow. Come in the twilight, soft and gray. Come in the night, or come in the day. Come, O love, whene'er you may, and you are welcome, welcome. You are sweet, O love, dear love, you are soft as the nesting dove. Come to my heart and bring it to rest, as the bird flies home to its welcome nest. Come when my heart is full of grief, or when my heart is merry. Come with the falling of the leaf, or with the reddening cherry. Come when the year's first blossom blows. Come when the summer gleams and glows. Come with the winter's drifting snows, and you are welcome, welcome.
Genevieve Urban, The Lyceum.
After the Winter by Claude McKay. Someday, when trees have shed their leaves, and against the morning's white the shivering birds beneath the eaves have sheltered for the night, we'll turn our faces southward, love, toward the summer isle, where bamboos spire the shafted grove, and wide-mouthed orchids smile. And we will seek the quiet hill where towers the cotton tree, and leaps the laughing crystal rill, and works the droning bee. And we will build a cottage there beside an open glade, with black-ribbed bluebells blowing near, and ferns that never fade.
I don't envy the judges as they select the 6 contestants who will be advancing to recite in the final round. While we give our judges and scoring manager time to finish scoring, we'd like to present all of our contestants with a certificate in honor of your achievement today. I invite all 12 contestants to return to the stage now. Paige Jibo, Medina High School. Jordan Washington, Fort Hays Arts and Academic High School. You can show your certificate to the audience if you want to. I mean, all the people, all the students. Anna Cawley, Lima Central Catholic High School. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Mary Simmons, St. Joseph Academy. Ashley Stull, Kettering Fairmont High School. Mackenzie Neville, Mother of Mercy High School. Samantha Riegler, Seton High School. Harry Harmon, John Glenn High School. Madeline Schroeder, Columbus Alternative High School. Magnus Sabo, Upper Arlington High School. Brianna McGee, Springfield High School. Genevieve Urban, The Lyceum. The results are in. Now we will announce the names of the 6 students with the highest scores from round 1 and 2 combined. Please stand and come up on stage if your name is called. Mary Simons, St. Joseph Academy. Simmons, Mary Simmons. Ashley Stull, Kettering Fairmont High School. Madeline Schroeder, Columbus Alternative High School. Magnus Sabo, Upper Arlington High School. Brianna McGee, Springfield High School. Genevieve Urban, The Lyceum. Okay, so now we will hear a third poem from each of these 6 students. This is the order in which they will present their poems. So, Mary Simmons, you're first.
A Psalm of Life by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. What the heart of the young man said to the psalmist. Tell me not in mournful numbers life is but an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are not what they seem. Life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not its goal. Dust thou art, to dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul. Not enjoyment, not sorrow is our destined end or way, but to act, that each tomorrow find us farther than today. Art is long and time is fleeting, and our hearts, though stout and brave, still like muffled drums are beating funeral marches to the grave. in the world's broad field of battle, in the bivouac of life. Be not like dumb, driven cattle. Be a hero in the strife. Trust no future, however pleasant. Let the dead past bury its dead. Act. Act in the living present. Heart within, and God o'erhead. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime. And, departing, leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Footprints that perhaps another, sailing o'er life's solemn main, forlorn and shipwrecked brother, seeing, shall take heart again. Let us then be up and doing with a heart for any fate, still achieving, still pursuing. Learn to labor and to wait.
Ashley Stull, Kettering Fairmont High School.
Through a Glass Eye, Lightly, by Caroline Kaiser. In the laboratory waiting room, containing one television actor with a teary face trying a contact lens, two muscular victims of industrial accidents, several vain women, I was one of them, came Deborah, 4, to pick up her glass eye. It was a long day, Deborah waiting for the blood vessels painted on her iris to dry. Her mother said that, holding Deborah when she was born. First I inspected her from toes to navel, then stopped at her head. We wondered why the inspection hadn't gone the other way. Looking into her eye was like looking into a volcano. Her vacant pupil went whirling down to the foundation of the world. When she was 3 months old, they took it out. She giggled when she went under the anesthetic. 45 minutes later, she came back happy. The gas wore off. She found the hole in her face. You know, it never bled. Stayed happy, even when I went to pieces. She's 5 in June. Deborah, you get right down from there, or I'll have to slap. Laughing, Deborah climbed into the lap of one vain lady who had been discontented with her own beauty. Now she held on to Deborah, looked her steadily in the empty eye.
Madeline Schroeder, Columbus Alternative High School.
I Find No Peace, by Sir Thomas White. I find no peace, and all my war is done. I fear and hope. I burn and freeze like ice. I fly above the wind, yet can I not arise? And naught I have, and all the world I season, that looseth nor locketh holdeth me in prison, and holdeth me not. Yet can I scape no wise, nor letteth me live, nor die at my device, and yet of death it giveth me occasion. Without eyne I see, and without tongue I plain. I desire to perish, and yet I ask help. I love another, and thus I hate myself. I feed me in sorrow, and laugh in all my pain. Likewise displeaseth me both life and death. And my delight is causer of this strife.
Magnus Sabo, Upper Arlington High School.
Novel by Arthur Rimbaud. We aren't serious when we're 17. One fine evening to hell with beer and lemonade, noisy cafes with their shining lamps. We walk under the green linden trees of the park. The lindens smell good in the good June evenings. At time, the air is so scented that we close our eyes. The wind laden with sounds. The town isn't far, has the smell of grapevines and beer. There, you can see a very small patch of dark blue, framed by a little branch, pinned up by a naughty star that melts in gentle quivers, small and very white. Night in June. 17 years old, we are overcome by it all. The sap is champagne and goes to our head. We talked a lot and feel a kiss on our lips, trembling there like a small insect. Our wild heart moves through novels like Robinson Crusoe, when, in the light of a pale street lamp, a girl goes by, attractive and charming under the shadow of her father's terrible collar. And as she finds you incredibly naive while clicking her little boots, she turns abruptly and in a lively way. Then caventinas die on your lips. You are in love. Occupied until the month of August, you are in love. Your sonnets make her laugh. All your friends go off. You are ridiculous. Then, one evening, the girl you worship deigned to write to you. That evening, you return to the bright cafes. You ask for beer or lemonade. We're not serious when we are 17. And when we have green linden trees in the park.
Brianna McGee, Springfield High School.
What I Learned from the Incredible Hulk by Amy Nezuka Matatio. When it comes to clothes, make an allowance for the unexpected. Be sure the spare in the trunk of your station wagon with wood paneling isn't in need of repair. A simple jean jacket says, "Hey, if you aren't trying to smuggle rare Incan coins through this peaceful little town and kidnap the local orphan, I can be one heck of a mellow kind of guy." It doesn't matter how angry a man gets. A smile and a soft stroke on his bicep can work wonders. I learned that men also have nipples. Warm and established, green doesn't always mean envy. It's the meadows full of clover and chicory the Hulk seeks for rest, a return to normal. And sometimes a woman gets to go with him. Her tiny hands correcting his rumpled hair, the cuts in his hand. Green is the space between water and sun, cover for a quiet man, each rib shuttling drops of liquid light.
Genevieve Urban, The Lyceum.
When I Heard the Learned Astronomer by Walt Whitman. when I heard the learned astronomer, when the proofs, the figures were ranged in columns before me, when I was shown the charts and diagrams to add, divide, and measure them, when I, sitting, heard the astronomer where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room, how soon, unaccountable, I became tired and sick, till, rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself in the mystical, moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars.
Thanks to each of you for reminding us of the importance and relevance of poetry today. While the final contest results are tabulated, we are excited to introduce a very special guest, poet Maggie Smith. Ms. Smith, come on, let's give her a round of applause. Wait till you hear this. Ms. Smith is the author of The Well Speaks of Its Own Poison, Lamp of the Body, and the forthcoming Weep Up. Her poems have appeared or are forthcoming in the Best American Poetry 2017, the Paris Review, the Kenyon Review, and elsewhere. In 2016, her poem, Good Bones, went viral internationally and has been translated into nearly a dozen languages. The recipient of fellowships from the National Endowment for the Arts, the Ohio Arts Council, and the Sustainable Arts Foundation, please welcome Maggie Smith, who will present a poem or two for us.
Days in rooms of poetry are my favorite days. This has been exciting for me. Thank you all so much. I want to take just 2 seconds to acknowledge people I can't actually see because of the lights. If you are a parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, sister, brother of one of these people, thank you. Can we give them a round? I came to poetry in high school, so it means a lot to me to see other people, whether it's writing it, reciting it, reading it, just sort of marinating it in any way. It means a lot. I'll read 2 poems, both of them inspired by one of my own small people, who was much smaller than you people. I have a series of sonnets in my book that's coming out in September about questions that my daughter has asked me in the car, age 3, age 4, age 5. So this one is based on the question, why is the sky so tall and over everything? It's called Sky. And I'm reading because I don't memorize my poems. What you draw as a blue stripe high above a green stripe, white interrupted, the real sky starts at the tip of each blade of grass and goes up, up, as far as you can see. Our house stops at the roof, at the glitter black overlap of shingles where the sky presses down, bearing the weight of space, dark and sparkling on its back. Think of sky not as blue, not as over, but as the invisible surround, a soft suit you wear close to the skin. When you walk, the soles of your feet take turns on the ground, but the rest of you is in the sky, enveloped in sky. As you move through it, you make a tunnel in the precise size and shape of your body. Thank you. And this is a very new one. It's called Rain, New Year's Eve. The rain is a broken piano playing the same note over and over. My 5-year-old said that. Already she knows loving the world means loving the wobbles you can't shim, the creaks you can't oil silent, the jerry-rigged parts MacGyvered with twine and chewing gum. Let me love the cold rain's plinking. Let me love the world the way I love my young son, not only when he cups my face in his sticky hands, but when, roughhousing, he accidentally splits my lip. Let me love the world like a mother. Let me be tender when it lets me down. Let me listen to the rain's one note and hear a beginner's song. Thank you.
Okay, the results are in, and my name is not Steve Harvey. We will announce our 3 winners. This year is the 4th year we will be giving out a first, second, and third place winners award specifically designed for our Poetry Out Loud state finals. Each piece has been individually designed and includes 2 lines from guest poet Maggie Smith's poem, Good Bones. Please join me in recognizing Cleveland artist Wendy Partridge and Bexley, Ohio poet Maggie Smith for combining their art to make these impressive awards. Okay, students, here we go. Our 3rd place winner is Magnus Sabo, Upper Arlington High School. In addition to this framed original print, which you're showing everyone, you will also receive a check for $100 for yourself with an additional $100 for your school library to buy poetry books. And you can always recommend Maggie's book. The 2nd place winner is Brianna McGee, Springfield High School. In addition to the frame print, you will also receive a check for $200 for yourself and $200 more for your school library to buy more poetry books. And now, the 1st place prize, the winner of Ohio's 12th annual Poetry Out Loud competition and our new Ohio Poetry Out Loud state champion is Madeline Schroeder, Columbus Alternative High School. On behalf of the National Endowment for the Arts, the Poetry Foundation, and the Ohio Arts Council, we congratulate you and present you with this framed original print from Wendy Partridge. We will also have a check for $300 for you and a $500 check for your school library so more students can follow in your footsteps. We wish you all the best as you and a chaperone, and it can't be another friend, it's got to be like an adult chaperone, travel to Washington, D.C. to represent Ohio at the Poetry Out Loud National Finals. In Washington, Madeline will compete with 52 students from all over the country for a chance to win a $20,000 prize and the title of National Poetry Out Loud Champion. We know you'll make us all proud. Again, this year, state champions are offered an additional, entirely optional competition in written and spoken word poetry called Poetry Ourselves, which began last year in honor of the 50th anniversary of the National Endowment for the Arts. Details about this special new contest are included in your prize envelope. We also have a special award for your school. Chiquita will tell us more about it.
Thank you. We are continuing this year a new tradition that we began in 2016 to commemorate Ohio Poetry Out Loud's second decade. We will have a beautiful, clear standing plaque in the shape of Ohio, engraved with your name and your school's name. It will be presented to your school as a permanent memento of the year that Maddie Schroeder became the Poetry Out Loud state champion from Cobbs. And we hope that your school will display it with pride. So again, congratulations. And we'd like to thank all 12 of our contestants today, and indeed every student in Ohio who recited a Poetry Out Loud poem this year for your bravery, your hard work, and for reminding us of the ongoing importance and relevance of poetry. And thank you so much for attending and for supporting Poetry Out Loud.